Welcome back to Absolutely. My name is Benny. My hair is in a ponytail because it's wet. And today we're going to talk about spoilers. Dan just wants to go full man bun. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do like the longer hair. I'm trying to look super emo, John Wickish. You know, like I want you to fear that if you show up at my house and kill my dog, I'm going to murder your entire family. So
it's weird because first you got to buy him a dog.
Yeah, you'd have to buy me the dog that you're then going to
If
murder.
you buy me a dog and kill my dog, I'm going to murder your whole family.
So today I thought we'd have a fun discussion because I've had this talk a little bit with Sal here and there, but I've never had it with Dan and definitely not Hassan. So we did a video recently on Comic Storian. The video is on Last Ronin. Last Ronin is a storyline that ended in 2021. 2021, okay? That's when it ended. June 2021, I believe is the date. I might not be 100% on that, but I believe that's the date. Okay?
Okay.
All right. A sequel book called The Lost Years is now happening and coming to its conclusion next week. Okay?
Okay.
So in our post promoting our video on The Lost Years, I said, we're learning the origins of the last Ronin, Michelangelo. Okay? To which we got multiple comments who were like, wow, thanks for the spoiler in the community post. To which I responded, if you gave a shit, you would have read it and supported the comic in the last 2 years. 2 years. Which, again, gets us back to the same old discussion we've had a few times. What is the statute of limitations on your spoilers?
Yeah, that's so tricky because Last Ronin, I think I took a little bit longer than I would have liked to have gotten to it. And then when I got to it, it was Variant Comics that spoiled it for me because they literally titled, but that was like during the run of it where they titled the book, they titled the video something along the lines of like, Michelangelo is the last Ronin. And then I ended up picking up the book to go ahead and read it. So like I didn't have any more spoilers, but I remember being like, oh man, I would have liked the surprise. I didn't like of figuring out that it was him or whatever, like not going in blind.
Right.
But 2 years later, less of an excuse, different medium. I think you guys are a lot more, you can speak to comics more. I think with TV and movies, we're in like the quickest realm we've ever been where like TikTokers are like, they're getting to see the thing early. So they're giving their non-spoiler review 2 weeks before.
Half the time it's a spoiler review.
Half of them, oh my God, they're like, hey, no spoilers for the movie, but I gotta say this part was fantastic when this character showed up unannounced. It's like, okay, that is a spoiler in itself.
Right.
Well,
I just had a discussion.
They get to talk about it.
And this is why I wanted to have this discussion again, because I just had a thing on my manga channel, Manga Story. Check it out if you want to see me rant about manga and anime. That Dan pseudo-spoiled the latest chapters of One Piece I was on. Now, he didn't do it intentionally. It wasn't at all.
Oh, did I?
Well, it's you watched the video. You know what I'm going to say. But apparently you don't know what I'm going to say. You filmed it.
Why don't you tell us on this show?
Going off of what you just said, Hassan, well, it's, no spoilers, but this person showed up. Even giving spoilers of an expectation is a spoiler. In the particular, it was a couple of chapters that were going on in One Piece. And I'm not going to go crazy into it because I don't want other people who may be reading as far back as I am to get spoiled. But Dan was like, this is so hype. This is going to make you really sad. This is like blah, blah. So going into these chapters, I was like, okay, waiting for the sad moment. And I didn't have the sad moment that Dan was talking about. Now we found out later, and I'm assuming it's not just you, Dan. I'm assuming the anime also lumped those together because other people thought post, well, I'm not going to say the names of the people that are spoilers, but thought that what you were talking about was also in that arc.
Okay.
So I think the anime must have lumped them together.
I think it's either lumped together or it was like right on the line of it could be the end of one or the start of the other. But I see what you're saying. You're more saying, are we spoiling things by spoiling that you're going to have emotions over things? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
And that's what I'm getting at.
Oh, this is going to be a really sad moment. So you go into it and you're like, okay, I know there's going to be a sad moment. Right. Okay.
So what I'm getting at is, what is the statute of limitations? Because on Comic Storian, we try not to do major spoilers. I have not outright said what the last Ronin was for the last 2 years. I would say last Ronin. Another example was we did a boys comic and or a boys short. And in the boys short, I spoiled a comic book plot line that was in the comic 15 years ago. and someone watched and said, well, now you've just spoiled the TV show for me.
That person's an idiot. That's the person that like will be like, oh, I don't want to hear about Marvel Comics. I don't know what's going to happen in the MCU. Those are unrelated properties in every single way, basically. That's different. I think with Ninja Turtles, you got to gauge it with what you think that audience engagement is like, because obviously the Ninja Turtles videos, I think on the channel, they do pretty well, right? Like in the grand scheme, they do good. Everybody loves it. I love the Ninja Turtles. I still haven't gone to I can't say that. That's scabbing. Whatever. I like the Ninja Turtles a lot. They're one of my favorite properties of all time.
You can say if you saw it or not. I haven't seen it yet. I want to.
Yeah, but if one of us gets a paid offer, then I'm not allowed to, and we have to talk about that at some point. But
I mean
my email has been a lot better recently.
So whatever.
I've been getting a lot of emails, and it's great. But now I know why, and it's super sad. I can't accept any of the offers. But I love Ninja Turtles, but you have to gauge it on that. Are there casual Turtles fans that are maybe just turning up to the franchise now, back after years, like after being like a kid watcher, and now they just heard Ronin. They've seen a picture of it, and now they jump to Comic Story and then they see that spoiler. But that's also not your responsibility. That's like a parent. No. That's like when a parent yells at like an adult or at like a TikToker being like, "Why'd you make videos like that? My kids were watching it. How dare you?" And it's like, why'd you let your damn kid watch my video, stupid? That's your responsibility.
Well, so in the case of Last Ronin, though, my opinion is it's been 2 years, and the current storyline is exploring the origins of how Mikey became the Last Ronin.
Yeah. Right.
So how do you talk about this without spoiling Mikey? Because as far as the comics are concerned, if you gave a shit, you've already bought it, read it, or no.
Exactly.
That's how the comics are.
No, and I think you're fair.
Yeah. Dan, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's exactly it. When it's something that is concluded and you do not know these people that it's going to be a spoiler for, then honestly, that's their fault. They didn't look into it. They didn't watch out. They didn't see you start a thing off saying Last Ronin and go, man, if I'm interested in this, I shouldn't read this because it's old and it's probably going to be a spoiler. And I feel like the statute of limitations for things like that, a lot of the time, if it is done and you have given it a week or two, then that's everyone else's fault for not preventing themselves from spoilers. I feel like in the first 2 weeks of something concluding while it's still relevant, spoiling it, it's kind of a dick move. But after that, I feel like it's what you're saying. If you wanted to, you would have. It is not your responsibility of going, man, is everyone okay with this spoiler from a really, really old thing? Basically, I feel like there's just a lot of people out there that there's a good chance all those people say, spoiler, are not being serious. They're just people who go, come on, spoiler, like as a joke. It's like if I said, and I'm not going to say it as a, like the Fight Club, the twist at the end. If someone said that, it'd be like, spoiler for that really old film. It's like, it's at this point, it's kind of a joke. Right. But I feel like the common argument I get from a lot of people when they're talking about the comic book spoilers that we get into from years ago is, well, I just haven't had the money to buy it. And that's not your fault.
Comics are the cheapest. What are you talking about?
Well, that's always been my argument.
Falling apart. It's so cheap. What is wrong with you guys? Buy the book.
Last Ronin hardcover is like $30. Okay, maybe you couldn't get it the month or even the second month or the third month. But if you wanted that book and you didn't want it spoiled,
could go to our channel and watch the video.
Well, not even that. Also, if you're seeing my community tabs, that means that you are subscribed to the channel, which means that you
it's like that's another thing. It's on a community tab. We've had those videos out for how long?
They've been out so long. They're on the alt channel now.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's just you can't win. You really can't win because it's also like that is a really difficult thing as like a consumer of media where I can't leisurely go see the next big blockbuster in a week after it comes out because I like what if I have other things? What if I have to if I'm traveling? One of the hardest things for me this year was that Across the Spider-Verse was like my most anticipated movie. I was very, very excited about it. Well, I was on a trip that was planned, months prior in a place that didn't have a movie theater. So I think I was only like maybe 5 or 6 days removed. And my whole TikTok For You page wasn't spoilers of people being like, let's talk about Spider-Verse. It was clips from the movie, like actual recorded clips of the movie. And that's a different issue. But we're talking something 2 years removed. You gotta just, it's your responsibility to consume your media, guys.
I do also find it funny, speaking of current movies and spoilers, because I felt like the spoiler topic at this point is not even as big of a deal. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but popular movies, popular comics, popular video games, give it a week, no one's talking about it anymore.
Yeah.
Even Spider-Verse.
That right
didn't
there
drag out.
is honestly why spoilers have become a lot more common, or a lot more commonplace, is because it has become, it used to be everyone kind of respected that rule of it just came out, don't spoil it. Like that was kind of a commonly accepted rule. Then content creation in short form blew up, and everyone's like, okay, if I want my TikTok account to get a ton of subscribers and followers, I'm going to have to be the first one to get this out. Otherwise, everyone's going to flood the For You page with the same thing. And I wait. And it's become that race of no one cares because everyone just wants the views and the follows and stuff like that. And so people are just jumping ahead of the line and going, okay, well, spoil, spoil, spoil. If everyone else is doing it, why am I holding myself back and losing out on these things? And that's just kind of the way that media has moved towards. Like, that's just unfortunately how it is. And I feel like we've reached a point that if you want to avoid a spoiler for something, you do have to avoid social media until you see it, because it's going to be everywhere. And like I was going to mention,
argument. They're like, no, I should be able to get on my social media. You should. You can't.
Exactly.
I think about that all the time, where it's like, I've had that conversation with somebody where I'm talking about, man, I hate that happened. They're like, well, why don't you just get off your phone? I was like, well, dumbass, that's my day job, dude. Like, I do this for a living. Like, I have to be on my phone.
What you need is a Dan who does your day job for you when you don't want spoilers.
He's called Isaiah, and I've been working on it for a couple of years now. We're gonna keep crossing our fingers, and one day I'll have my own Dan. But no, I like don't want to see it. I think Dylan used to, that was like his rule. Dylan wouldn't be on any trailer videos with us. He didn't want that because he was very like, he mutes all the terms on Twitter that could relate to a film that he's anticipated. He doesn't watch the trailer. He goes in blind, which is like an incredible movie-going experience. Barbie, which is, I think the discussion about it is past. I guess I can talk about it at least a little bit, but that movie's promotion doesn't spoil a goddamn thing.
I still haven't seen it for that I don't feel like I missed anything.
Well, and the thing is, you haven't, other than an incredible movie going. That's the first movie that I anticipated because the promotion was really good. I wanted to see like there was cultural like a discussion about it. And then I went and saw it. I had no idea what it was going to be. I had no idea what the plot was going to be. I didn't know who the villains were. I didn't know what the story was going to lend itself to. And it was this incredible experience start to finish. So I do envy that position, right? Like, what if we went to Spider-Man No Way Home and nobody saw a spoiler about Andrew and Toby? Nobody knew Willem Dafoe was back. Nobody knew Alfred Molina was back. You just walk into that theater and you're expecting, and then it just picks up and he's like, hey, Doctor Strange, whatever. And then halfway through the movie, boom, everything changes. The tone shifts. How crazy would that have been? And that's not the landscape.
I mean, it's not even the weird part about Barbie. Dan almost wanted to have a talk about it, but I think this will be the only space we could do it. It's doing so well. I still can't get good seats at a good time. I can't.
Oh my
God. That's the only reason I haven't seen it. It's not.
We got so lucky. I don't know how it happened, but it was like 8 friends. 8 people went to go see it together because it's like the girlfriends are all there. The sisters all want to be there. It was an experience. We somehow got an entire row, but it was like a left side row. We couldn't even get center theater seats anywhere. But it was probably one of the best movies I've seen in my entire life, and I like fully intend to go see it in theaters again because now we're going to be in a drought for the next 2 years at least by now, thanks to AMTP. Love that. But yeah, it's spoiler conversation. I think that movie did marketing so well in a way that other movies won't do it, because when the next big Marvel blockbuster drops, it's going to be like, all right, and Galactus is in the trailer. Oh my God, Galactus is it's going to be all the, and we've casted Sue Storm. I remember going to Marvel movies and not knowing who the actors were. Like, I don't know who Chris Hemsworth is. I'm going to see Thor because it's a guy with a hammer. That sounds kind of cool. And it was awesome.
I want to see him do roofing. I mean,
yeah, I want to see him I want him to do shingles, man. That'd be crazy.
But yeah, no, it's just a weird situation where I don't know why people we've moved so far past spoilers being important. It's something I've gotten to the point where almost with the trailers, like if Natalie and I are going to watch a movie, we watch like half of the trailer and stop it. Because half the time these movies do just spoil the entire movie.
Yeah, Multiverse of Madness with Professor X.
Yeah,
that moment
that's
could have been
crazy.
amazing, but they were like, "Hey, we need the hype from the trailer. Put it out." And it's like,
well, and if they bit their tongue a little bit more, they even brought Professor X, Peggy Carter, and all those people to the red carpet. So immediately, if you hadn't gone to see the movie, or if you'd been one of those, like, there's thousands of people that line up on Hollywood Boulevard to like watch the red carpet from afar, immediate spoilers. You're not about to walk in and go see the movie. Imagine you get invited to the red carpet. You've seen not a single spoiler. You're just excited to go. You get to see it earlier than anybody in the world. And then you see Haley Atwell walk up and you're like, what is this beautiful goddess doing here right now?
She's
What could
hanging
this
out.
mean? Just hanging out, really? Nobody goes to premieres other than Xochitl Gomez to, like, she goes to every single premiere of every movie of everything. Other actors, they don't go to stuff that they're not in unless their wives or significant others are in.
see, I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's a situation that those people shouldn't have gone. Everyone knows that if you go to a red carpet, the people in the movie are going to be there. So that, in my opinion, is a situation where it becomes, you don't want a spoiler, don't go to the red carpet. Because it's going to be there. I feel like if you know it was the spoiler is there, then that's your fault for going.
But you didn't, so they didn't know going, like, cameos aren't traditionally at red carpets. It's usually just the main cast and then like friends and stuff. I don't remember the last time it was like that felt like Willem Dafoe, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire they weren't at the Spider-Man No Way Home premiere.
But the thing with that is, I can guarantee all these people get the invites and choose not to go. You don't have to go to a red carpet if you have the invite.
I wonder what it was with that, because well, sometimes it's an obligation, it's like a press obligation or whatever.
Right.
But I do wonder, and that's like a whole other conversation. But I'm very curious of like of what the line is there. Regardless, I think we're just in like a frustrating media landscape, because even let's say you didn't go and you just glance TikTok the next day and you just like very attractive people. Haley Atwell in her little Multiverse of Madness dress will show up on your For You page. Guilty, okay? And you'll know she's in the movie.
The big issue we're in this day and age, and I've said this since the beginning, it's on you to avoid spoilers, and I think we do a good job of Comic Story of not just outright giving away stuff. One of the things I pride myself on is whenever there's a death in a comic, I don't just be like, death of Batman, unless like it's jokey. Like if I say death of Batman, that's because it's not really the death of Batman.
It's not really
or it happens in the first couple pages. I feel
it's like the selling point of the book.
A spoiler does not count if it's in the first couple pages. We're talking spoilers at the end of the thing. That's a big twist, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Our
but
chat
if they die, and that's the topic of what's going on, that's not a spoiler. That's a premise.
Yeah,
that's very different.
Our chat just brought this one up: Death of Miss Marvel, and I was talking about this yesterday with Rob. Actually, we didn't say that in the title. What we did was, to get views on the Death of Miss Marvel, I titled it Death of ... And then Dan got the image of Mary Jane getting stabbed and put that on the thumbnail. So we let people
spoiler misdirection.
Back again. Clickbait Dan. No, Benny, I was thinking that when you guys did John Kent Injustice, you didn't put that in the title. I remember seeing that, like the first video you put out, because everybody else had already spoiled it immediately. Like I got a TikTok of the reveal of that, and I don't read comics that much, but I am keeping up with these runs for some reason. For some unknown reason, I'm reading comic books again. I don't know why. I'm just doing it. I hate myself, but I was reading that, and then you titled it something along the lines of like, and John Kent meets ... And I was like, oh, why didn't he put the spoiler in the title and the thumbnail at that point? But it was, I was like,
if it's the spoiler of the book, like the cliffhanger or the last back, we try not to do it unless like there's an actual need to. Yeah. The Death of Miss Marvel, we did title the problem with the Death of Miss Marvel, but that doesn't necessarily mean she died or this is the issue or what happened. And it was a week after it even happened, so that people had time.
And there's not like a way for us to gauge like cultural importance of a story, of a news article, of like a media topic, because like there are things that like, hey, like John Kent Injustice, that came out and everybody knew it happened immediately. Like within minutes, it was on TikTok, pseudo versions of Comic Story and like the little clip show versions. It was on Twitter. It was everywhere. And then there are other like niche comic book things that people make, like Michelangelo, Last Ronin. I don't think that ever trended for 1 second, even though it's an incredible book. And people certainly talk about how visually stunning it is, but they never trended like this. And it's just weird.
It's funny because at this point, I have been eating the cake that I tell you guys to eat. I don't know a better wording for that, but so I've always told the viewers that if you don't want spoilers, you need to stay off social media. It is on you to avoid spoilers. As I have pulled myself away from all forms of social media. Although now I've become really bad about Reddit, so I don't know. That just filled my social media gap. But whatever.
Almost
I
worse
was
than
gonna
the
say
other one.
that's the
Yeah,
That's
but
like-
the
at
better
least
part,
that one you can go to a different subreddit, and if there's a spoiler there, then something
well,
really
on
wrong.
Reddit, I like aggregate exactly what I do want to read, which I think is making it almost worse because now it's like, well, this is all stuff I would read instead of like bullshit.
Here's my personalized echo chamber. Let me jump on it.
That's exactly what, because nothing gets recommended to me. It's literally just like, if we're playing a game,
no.
I'll follow that subreddit. Ooh, people are talking about Exoprimal. Cool. Anyway, the point I'm making is I am not getting spoilers for almost anything that I actually care about. And case in point, Final Fantasy 16. And now, since I'm saying this, I will not be reading the comments to this video.
Smart.
But I have voided every like big reveal from Final Fantasy 16, and we are like a month out, 2 months out of that game coming out now. And I'm just slowly trucking along because I don't like how long the cutscenes are. They lose my interest. It's like mini movies with no purpose. It's kind of wonky, but.
Well, I want to add in like a small caveat to the length of time when something comes out, because you mentioned the spoiling of One Piece by saying, oh, there's something sad coming up. Oh, there's something exciting and stuff like that. I feel like, one, I never actually made a connection to the fact that you can spoil something by spoiling the emotions and excitement of it, because that's I feel like an unintentional spoiler, because it's more sharing your excitement over something and trying to explain it without giving it away. And so that's a unintentional one. But I feel like when something is old enough and you are aware that people are either following it along with you for the first time, or let's pretend I had played Final Fantasy 15 and you've played through the whole thing and I'm just starting it. When you know someone is going through it and it's their first time, and you spoil it then, even though it's 18 years old, that's a dick move, spoiler, because you're aware.
If I know you're personally doing it. Yeah,
exactly. So like, I feel like
that'd be like
that
a great example.
bit,
I don't know why this game came to my head, but let's say a narrative game, Dan. You just started playing Life is Strange. And I'm like, oh man, wait till you get to the part where such and such happens, Dan. And you're going to be like,
exactly.
I just started it. I know, Dan, but it's 10 years old. I don't care.
Exactly. Because that's a situation where it is you're aware that you're spoiling something that I'm trying to experience. But if you were just, let's say we were in a conversation and you're like, hey, did you ever play Life is Strange? No. Do you care? No. Okay, here's a spoiler. Or do you care? Yes. Okay, then I'm not going to spoil this.
I'm going to end our video by giving props to the One Piece community, because I'm obviously showing everyone where I am in the One Piece story. And I've yet to get hit with any crazy spoilers. Now, I don't read the comments a lot of times on the Manga Historian videos, but I do catch a few comments. No one has gone out of their way to try and like it up for me.
It's actually,
I'm putting Hassan to sleep here talking about One Piece.
Dude, I don't care at all about this 1800 episode. I'm kidding. I'm gonna watch it at some point. I know there's a lot of hype.
Is it on the
around
rainy day
right
list
now.
with Logan?
Oh God,
No,
that's a rainy year list.
It's long as all hell. And honestly, I'm watching a lot of other anime right now, and I'm enjoying it. So like Shonen is not top shelf for me. I love it. I grew up on it. I love Dragon Ball. I love Naruto. I love all that stuff. But it's not top shelf. So like you really gotta like pull me in. And there's stuff right now. I might pull out the manga and read all the way up to where we are now. I could.
I like Alibaba. Hassan's waiting for the next lockdown to catch up on One Piece.
Dude, I've had enough. I'm busy enough without the stress and anxiety of having to catch up on something that has 1,000 episodes. Okay,
I'm 1,200 now. You're not too bad off.
I'm
up to like 450.
Okay.
You read very fast, Benny, for one. But I will say I want to commend the anime and manga community, because I feel like those are that's the community that is more likely to give the respect to the spoiler-free zone, because I feel like a lot of the time there is a big anime season finale or stuff like that, and maybe it's still fast, but it's not nearly as fast as other properties. Most of the time, obviously there's outliers, but I feel like a lot of the time people in that community are like, oh my gosh, have you seen the newest episode? Okay, go see it because it is amazing. I'm not going to spoil anything. And I feel like that's one thing that is awesome about the manga and anime community, because like you said, the One Piece, people that know it, they're like, oh, he's experiencing this for the first time. I'm respecting that. I love seeing people experience this. It's almost like experiencing the non-spoilers for the first time all over again.
Yeah.
So go anime and manga.
All right, so we're going to end today's video, though, because it's just more of an open discussion about spoilers, because I just thought it was funny that people are literally yelling at me about Michelangelo spoilers of a 2-year-old book. I say by the statement, even if you don't have time to read it right now, if you want to support the industry, you need to pick up the books. You do. Otherwise, they stop making the books. If you don't have the money to buy it right away, that's also fine, but that doesn't mean you can't get the money within a 2-year span of time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't, we're really sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'll agree with that. If you
I'm so sorry.
That in 2 years you couldn't get up $30 for that book, or to even read it online, or to go watch our video. Yeah, really does. Sorry. I am sorry. I don't know how you.
I'm not saying it. Yeah. No, because if you're finding the community post that spoils it, then you had perfect access to free videos that would not have spoiled it. So you know what? That's on you.
All right. We'll see you guys next time right here on Absolutely.